morning.
Good morning.
Lovely to see everyone. It's about 1:30 a.m. for me, I think, so bear with me. Before I take you through a case study on something that we worked with a media vendor on in the last couple of weeks, actually, that's hopefully going to go live with a few clients in Q4, I wanted to kind of go back to where we were at when we were sitting here 12 months ago. We had two of our media director and kind of one of our digital guys who had actually been repurposed into a digital role. We're a pretty small market compared to, I guess, some of the people in the room, but we have about a $6 billion digital media market locally, and that represents about 40% of the media market. So there's still huge opportunity considering our local billings are kind of between $25 to $30 million in media in total. So sitting here in September last year, we were about a $600,000 local currency digital media billing. So $600,000, about $400,000 US. As of the projections for Q4, we're probably going to be around $2.2 to $2.5 million. So although the numbers are still small compared to the likes of the US, the UK, we have seen a huge amount of growth. And I think the main reason for that has been kind of a key focus and the right personnel. So repurposing an existing media person, Nick Draper, who a lot of you met last year, repurposing him from just a kind of linear media person into a digital focus has really kind of helped grow the billing. What we did was we kind of left here and we took a lot of the kind of, I guess, help that the US gave around trading techniques, and we went back to all the digital media players in our market, and we adopted some of our traditional trading in the digital landscape. So working with our GNS partners to then provide goods back to the digital media so that we could then create leverage and actual spread that we could sell off to our clients. So we not only repurposed Nick into digital, we actually kind of gave him ownership of the digital P&L. So as soon as you put someone in charge of a budget, all of a sudden things start to happen a lot faster than they probably would have otherwise. We have kind of done some work with the Involved guys, which has been great. Not only are we integrating that into the media team, but we're also ensuring that all the client service team know exactly what they're talking about when they're talking to our clients about digital. So being able to go out and extract social media budgets direct from the client as opposed to going by the agency and hitting a roadblock. So one other thing that we have been doing is also working on content creation. So if we can supply a content partner for a client, then we can also hopefully leverage that into publishing the content in the right environment for them. So one thing that I wanted to take you through is a case study from Grazia. So Grazia is a Mondadori-owned Italian magazine title, which was a physical magazine in Australia up until about 2 years ago. It disappeared. Bauer Magazines decided to drop it because of high publishing costs, but it still had a relatively kind of savvy following, and people were actually buying the UK version that was imported. So one of the Bauer media executives, who we know quite well, bought the rights, but turned it into a digital-only platform, servicing kind of top-tier clients in fashion, beauty, that have kind of very strict kind of digital guidelines as far as what they were willing to publish their ads on. So we have been talking to them not only about some of our existing clients, but actually accessing clients, new business for us of clients that have a barrier. When I say that, I'm talking about the likes of premium fashion or beauty advertisers that only advertise in very specific environments. So very difficult for us to trade, very rarely do they shift, so we're talking about going after clients that we otherwise wouldn't be able to go after. We sat with them. They originally asked us, the whole meeting was actually around social media. So I think Ben, was you that was on the call with Grazia? Yeah, to talk about ideally we're going to trade their social and buy back, do a cross-purchase on their social, so buy their social for them and then commit funds back to their advertising platform. There was some barriers to the social media. I think that they've got quite a sophisticated kind of technique for how they were going to trade it. Cost was very low, right? And also the man hours that go into it. They have someone sitting there full-time working out exactly what article is trending and what they're going to put onto their socials. So they have it's kind of like a KPI for most of the actual editorial team inside their office. So we had to kind of go back to the drawing board, and we're now kind of working with them on some of our GNS partners. So essentially what we're going to do is we're going to provide them with goods that they need, that they would otherwise have a cash cost against. We're going to provide them with those from our partners, Bose, Freedom Furniture, a couple of other retailers that they're going to use as prizes and giveaways to kind of help drive traffic. In return, they're going to provide us with video, just a traditional trade deal. The one thing about this is that we're actually going to use it on clients that we currently don't have in our stables. So the likes of Chanel, who we're meeting with next week to talk specifically around this. They want to advertise on this platform, but for Grazia to actually leverage that business, they need to be able to provide them with some sort of committed return on investment. So we're going to do a cross-purchase with them, and then allow those goods that we buy to be then sold back through the e-commerce platform of Grazia. So why do they even want to advertise with Grazia? Because Grazia can also do the creative content for them, and they give them full rights to that. So they have an entire suite of directors that are shooting, running editorial content that they then give them to use in other environments, not just on the Grazia website. The other thing is that everything that appears on this digital platform is Shopify. So if you see a pair of sunglasses that you like, they can then go and buy them. So an example of what this is kind of the pitch which is going to Chanel next week. We work on a $250,000 campaign which has been kind of shot and then bespoke put together by Grazia in line with all the restrictions that Chanel have kind of stipulated. We'll commit to buy back $100,000 worth of product or gift cards. That product in Chanel's case will be sold solely on the grazia.com.au e-commerce platform, so there'll be no kind of risk to their product ending up in a place where they're not happy with it. They will then also get the additional exposure from the promo that is going to run on Grazia, giving away the product. So the result for us really is a new client for us and the media owner, a increase in spend, not only media but also an increase in product sales for the client. Less reliance on the agency, which I think is a big thing that maybe we'll talk about in more detail later today, but all of the Grazia kind of composed media sales is done directly with the client. And it's clients that are not in a position to allow, like LVMH, Chanel, that are not going to allow their agency to negotiate everything for them. They want to know exactly where they're going to appear, what the product is going to be, and who's going to shoot the content for them. Any questions? I feel like I went through that very quickly.
Now, three years ago, you hired a digital resource to try and grow our business in Australia, and it didn't work. What do you think's changed this year from when you first tried to hire a resource to focus on digital?
In all honesty, I think it's come down to we repurposed an existing staff member who was already trading linear media. So they knew trading techniques, they knew our business, and they weren't trying to come in as a digital expert and implement something that they didn't really understand. We're now using someone from internal and repurposing them. And I think that's been the biggest kind of tick for us. At the moment that we shifted Nick's focus from just everything to digital P&L, it's really kind of changed. He knows how to trade. He knows how to kind of sit in front of them and talk to clients about our business and what they expect from us, and that's what I think has actually changed. It's not, although those two resources that we had that didn't work, I would say they didn't work, they kind of educated us and we knew what not to do when they left. There wasn't enough for them to do at that time. Now I think we're in a position where we've got someone who knows the active business, also not working on growing digital. At some point, I think that a slightly more junior digital specific person could probably work underneath Nick, because then you've got kind of Nick running that P&L, and then you've got someone who can go out and create partnerships with new vendors and publishers and tech.
So it's really fair to say, for the country who are thinking of hiring digital skill set into the business, that you should really buddy them up with someone who's experienced in trading and talking about our business.
That's what worked for us, and that's what I would suggest. I can't kind of speak for everyone else's business, but I think people that know what we do and have kind of corporate trade or barter in their blood, I think it's a lot easier to repurpose them into something that can kind of yield, I guess, a billing result like we've had.
But he came without knowledge of the digital world.
Not without.
Not that bad.
Not without, because he worked, Nick specifically, who you met, and he worked at Bauer before, and he specifically did a lot of their kind of digital sales on their digital platform for Bauer before he came to Active. So he knew digital, and he's definitely kind of digital savvy, but he came in to be a traditional media trader for us, and then has since kind of now been repurposed as our digital headcount.
Good.
Cameron, would a small part of that be though that the market is a little more receptive
Of
now?
course.
A couple of years ago, they were not quite so predisposed.
Correct, 100%. No, there's no doubt that plays a part. And also, our focus on it has shifted. So us going out to clients and talking about digital, extracting digital information has, changed dramatically.